Welcome to Driving Immersion. This is the immersive racing experience. Studio 397's Le Mans Ultimate is the best detailed simulation of the World Endurance Championship. We are racing in Le Mans Ultimate using as much of its simulation factors to be as close to endurance racing as possible. We drive from the cockpit using a Fanatec CSL DD Plus wheel and load cell pedal set without any assists except for what exists in a car. There are collisions and damage, tire wear, and fuel use, including virtual energy. Give us a like and click on subscribe now so that you don't miss out on any of it. Volume up and let's go.
At that point, so there are an even number of 8 segments. And right now we are going to change tires. 51% is just not enough. We'll end up with a 1% tire at the end of this stint, which is not feasible. Either that or we cut this stint short, and there's no reason to do that. Maybe something that we'll do on the second or the last stint. So here we go. Right now, going to refuel. No aero. And right now, no damage to repair. This pit stop going to cost us 53 seconds altogether. It's 12 seconds for the tire change and 41 seconds or 39 seconds for refueling and recharging. Right now we are 1 lap ahead of the second place number 6 Porsche of Kevin Estre, I believe. Nope, the number 36 is coming up. Kevin Estre, I think he pulled into the pits. There is one of the Porsches coming by. Oh, that is him. I believe that was the number 6. 6 seconds left to go. Lights on the ground, and we are rolling.
Back to racing here at the 8 Hours of Bahrain. Out of the pits with a fresh set of tires, full recharge and full refuel.
Gotta remember, we've got cold tires, cold brakes. They're relatively cool.
Again, we are comfortably in first place ahead of the number 36 Alpine right now. And you can see here on our installation lap, we are free and clear around the track. Again, for this race in Bahrain, we chose the Puegeot 9X8. It is a very interesting looking car and actually very easy to set up and drive to get a fast lap time. However, as we mentioned in the last stint, there is a slight problem here with Le Mans Ultimate in that qualifying is very difficult, while the racing once it is going is actually very easy, and you can see here that we do have a sizable lead now in front of the field. But in qualifying, we were at least 2.5 to 3.5 seconds behind the car in front of us, and we ended up in last place at the start. A common problem that the F1 series used to have just 5 years ago. But certainly can be fixed. And here we are looking at the second place Porsche of Kevin Estre, the number 6 Penske Porsche.
Full lock to the right into turn 1. Easy at the throttle until 3. Brake too late here.
Back to the number 6. He is chasing down one of the Alpines. This is the number 35. And right now they are not racing against each other. In fact, there is another Alpine behind the number 6 here, and right now, little off camera, and those two are racing. On board as he is trying to find the right spot to be able to get around the Alpine. And here we are back to the number 93 of Mars Medina. Coming around, I believe this is turn 14 and 15. Down the pit straight and cross the start-finish line once again. Out of the pits, as we see there, the Toyota.
That was 9th place, Sebastian Buomi in the Toyota. Coming out of the pits, he is 1 lap down. Might be 2.
Right now, at this time of the race, everybody's pit strategy is very well mixed up. If you remember, in the earlier stints, everybody came in at once. But obviously, as this endurance race proceeds, a lot of pit strategies are going to change and adapt to changing conditions. Looking further back, there's also a Ferrari back there. And right now, again, we are 1 lap ahead of the field. A result of strategic pit stops. Actually, we're just going as long as we can on the set of tires and the virtual energy. And if you are just catching up on this series at the 8 Hours of Bahrain, the tires don't last very long. About 50% in one stint.
Vibration in the steering wheel from the front tire.
So as a result of those tires wearing out very fast, we have not used a set of tires for 2 stints. Everything is single stint right now, and it may be that way for the rest of the race. And once again, for the next race series that we have here at Le Mans Ultimate, we are going to verify the number of tires that are allowable for the race and correspond or coincide with that. The other long distance race we did at Le Mans, there was a set number of tires. I believe that was default. I think it was 60, and we just happened to set it to 64. And in the 24-hour race, we did use a set of tires for as many as 4 stints, which is actually very good. And we did have to try to manage those tires very well. Again, 4 stints is very long, but here at Bahrain, we have not been able to use them for more than just 1 stint. If you use them all the way down to 53 or 51%, that would mean that you have 1% left on the second stint as you come into the pits. And if you have seen the Le Mans series, no set of tires are drivable below 10%. They will essentially just lock up when you brake hard. And in fact, once you reach 20% life left, they will degrade very quickly. Even one lockup will bring it down 5 to 10%. So those tires don't last very long, and obviously we couldn't go with a 2 stints on a set of tires here.
That is Neil Johnny in turn 4, the 4th place car. So we are quite a ways ahead of the field. Which is excellent because this car is not wanting to turn in. Maybe I'm just not braking enough. There we go. Nice one through turn 8.
So right now we only have 4 laps installed on this set of tires, and we do have to warm them up here in a reasonably slow time. I believe here at Bahrain they will get up to full temp in about 2 1/4 laps. So for the first 2 1/4 times around here after a set of new tires, you do have to drive them just a little bit more conservatively and try not to lock up and do any wheel spins.
Oh, almost went for a spin there.
And as you are watching this segment of the race, we are actually driving in Le Mans Ultimate version 1.2 now.
Sebastian Buemi unlapping himself.
So there was a tire data upgrade for the rest of the other classes, but nothing here for the hypercars. Although we did notice that they will flat spot just a little bit easier here after 1.2. So that is something that we're going to have to keep an eye on here as we circle the track again. And I wish they would fix that timing here on the leaderboard. It does not show the remaining time in the race, but there is about 2 hours left in the race here at this time. And once again, the percentage there that you see in virtual energy, that is not live. Obviously, nobody's at 100%. In fact, we've done 4 laps already. We shouldn't be at 100%. So hopefully they can make that live sometime soon.
Rear brakes still hotter than the front brakes.
There is the Toyota of Sebastian Buemi just in front of us here as we come in through 2 and 3. Right now he is not appearing in the classification, although he's up to 8th place, so he may be at least 1, maybe 2 laps down at this point in the race. That is turn 11, just as wide as you can go. turn
Learning to be
12 here.
patient with the tires and the brakes. Again, vibration in the steering wheel from a flat spotted tire. And you can see it here on the straight. There we are. So a fast lap in the Toyota is still ahead of us. Little touch.
We take a dive on the GR010, a little bumping into turn 4.
Another touch on the Toyota. And we just can't stop. Oh, what spin!
That is turn 8, a very tight right-hander. And very much off camber at the entrance as we are going downhill. And the way turn 8 is configured, the camber will come back, but only after you finish the turn, so very complex.
That is why we can't stop. We're not using our regen to slow the car down. You can see our charge is completely full. And that absolutely changes the brake balance.
Very nice here in the Puegeot. The state of charge is actually in green. It's a vertical rectangular box there on the left side of the steering wheel display, and that shows us the state of charge in a visual format. There's also a percentage right next to it.
Alright, so now we are regenerating it once again. And we are going to have to refine our brake balance.
So right now we are unsure if the regenerated energy is done through the front or rear wheels here in the Puegeot. If you are knowledgeable of that fact or piece of data, you can comment below and let us know. Now we do have some locking up in some of the heavy braking. Very difficult to tell if it's the front or the rear. I am imagining that it is likely the front because the rear is not coming around as they lock up.
There we go.
The car simply just understeers. So if you know where the regenerated energy comes from, whether it's the front or rear tires here on the Puegeot. Back to the number 8 GR10.
123 ahead of P2.
Just a quick look around at the remaining field. There was the lead GT3 Mercedes. This is the, well, that was the yellow Corvette, currently in second place. And now we are back to the number 93. very good view from up above at the complex turns on the infield here at Bahrain. This is turn 8 once again, and you can see it does go downhill, but once it goes uphill, the camber comes back.
So right now we are trying to nurse a major vibration
152.13
in the steering.
And there you have it, the driver reporting a vibration in the front steering.
We still don't have a brake
Something
noise
that
on it.
has changed since the introduction of version 1.2.
A little bit closer.
Now we have been getting vibration from flat spotting the tires in previous races, but right now it is a little bit more apparent than usual, and that's why we are noting that fact that the tires that are flat spotted are causing a vibration in the steering wheel.
Very wide.
Having a look around the 9X8, we do have minor damage on the car. Obviously it's not showing up. Now, even if there was major damage, the visual effects of any damage here in Le Mans Ultimate is still a little bit far behind.
Still don't have the braking.
I think if you are going to knock off a fender or a front clip, it should appear as so, as it does in the actual racing. But here in Le Mans Ultimate, it just shows as a somewhat wrinkled body panel. Now the rear wing can be knocked off, and it will actually visually disappear once it's knocked off if it's damaged that much. And driving in the car, you'll obviously notice that it's gone, as you have no grip in the rear wheels whatsoever. So you will have to come in for a lengthy repair if you do knock off that rear wing. But again, the damage here on the body panels is very minimal visually. You can damage the suspension, and it shows up as one of the A-arms attached to one of the wheels in any one of the four corners. And you will feel the car drifting a little bit if it's in the front. Turn 10 once again in the number 93. Once again, a very clear track here for the number 93 9X8. Currently in the lead is Mars Medina. There is a car in front that is one of the Ferraris that we see in one of the shots, or a couple of the shots as we go around. crossing the start-finish line now.
Time 1:53.66.
1:53 is a decent lap.
Indicated there in the steering wheel is that we have 12 laps into the stint.
Alright, these tires are damaged.
Very big skid there. Again, they have been flat spotted as they are vibrating on the longer straights, so indicated there on the steering wheel. We have 12 laps into the stint. Right now they are 71% life left, so 29% worn. So very fast. I believe we will get about 28 laps out of a stint here on virtual energy and fuel. So with a little calculation, we should be down to about 40% life left if we continue to drive this way. So we're going to have to back off on this car and on these tires. We do have, again, a considerable lead, so we can spare the time in order to maintain the drivability with the tires. Now that backing off shouldn't consist of more than 1.5 to maybe 2 seconds per lap. Again, we can afford that right now, and that will extend that should extend the life of the tires. And that is a look from above at 1, 2, and 3. As we approach turn 4, once again in the shot, we can see a Ferrari just up ahead.
Oh, braking way too late there. You can see what other cars have run off as well. Now we are catching up to the Ferrari just a little bit. Keep understeering 213.
Lap 1:52.87.
Good lap.
Now up to the bumper of the number 50 Ferrari of Antonio Fuoco. And you can see there in the standings that he is in 4th place. That is how far up ahead we are in the number 93. Very big slide there. A little touch to the Lexus. Just driving a little too hard here in the number 93.
Seconds behind.
Line 152.55.
Still at 152. Got a run in the Ferrari this time.
So as we are riding along here with the number 93, we can see that the Ferrari number 50 is nearly evenly matched. So we do have a good setup on the difficulty settings here. And I think it was a simple glitch of the pit stops very early on in the race that had caused these other hypercars to be so far back in the field. Now it did take a couple of laps to get around the number 50, and we'll see how long it takes to basically drop him. And we may use that as an indication of how or where we need to be in the difficulty setting.
We'll go another lap down.
There he is, still in the mirror of the number 93.
Another 12 laps on the stint. Still racing with the Ferrari here.
Down into turn 1, he does still have pretty good speed on us. There is the Ferrari in the back of the shot.
Very shaky. Turn 11 there for the Aston Martin. 1.5 seconds behind on this lap. Flat spotted tire is definitely becoming a major hindrance.
Lap 1:53.92.
Neil Johnny, turn around on the apron.
Back with the number 99. He's got his car straightened out and back on track as we come in through 6 and then turn 7. And once in a while we will see any one of the hypercars take a spin around, and it may just be due to the fact that they are going maybe 2 stints on a set of tires. Obviously, if you're going to be more careful on a set of tires, you will be a lot slower in the field, and that may be one of the reasons why we are so far up ahead in the number 93. So something that we'll have to adjust, obviously, in the settings for the next race. Back to number 6, the second place car. The 6 Penske Porsche. And we are keeping an eye on him as he is only about 10 seconds ahead of the lead here. And he will be lapped again. If he loses that 10 seconds, you can see there that he should be now at turn 12 as we enter turn 10.
So something must have happened on track up here. Very poor grip in the front tires now. Make an adjustment on the anti-roll bar.
So as we progress in the stint, we are noticing that the tires are not responding as well. A lot of locking up again due to the fact that we do have flat spots. So what we just did was we made an adjustment on the front anti-roll bar, and that will allow a little bit more compliance so that when we put a lot of weight on those front tires, as in heavy braking, they are less likely to lock up and surpass the threshold of grip. And sometimes that adjustment can be made if they get too hot. Again, in order to bring them back down in temperature, you can do that as well. So the car is constantly changing as we complete circuits in this track, and you must keep up with it. Otherwise, you can't just complain that the tires are old.
Very wide. And that is a spin.
A spin here for the number 93, and that is, again, turn 10.
Well, as damaged as those front tires are, from the flat spot, they're actually doing very well. Well, we got 8 more laps to go, so perhaps maybe speaking too soon about their condition. They don't seem to be gripping very well.
Yes, with about 8 laps left in this
Maybe
stint.
we'll take a look at reducing the air pressure when we come in.
With about 8 laps left, they have reduced by 20% in the last 8 laps. So we are possibly looking at tires that are going to be in the 40% life left. Now those tires will still be drivable, but you will have to be talented to keep them in good shape. We're on board with Antonio Puegeot in the number 50 Ferrari. And we are watching the lead, number 93, just up ahead. So the red Ferrari here lapped once again. And he has been actually within sight of the number 93 for the last 5 or 6 laps. So the speed here and the AI setting is actually not too bad. We could just make it a little bit more difficult, but again, a lot of the things that must be adjusted here in the race settings, I think now, is that the tires have to be limited. Obviously, because if you don't have a limitless number of tires, you will learn how to drive more carefully and slowly in order to maintain those tires. So we look forward to the next race here in Le Mans Ultimate. We will certainly be doing that. Really not much fun here when you are so far ahead of the field. There's not much of a race left. Now there are just about 90 minutes left in this race at this point. So a lot of things can still happen. So even though we are a lap ahead of the field right now, it's very possible that we could have a bad accident or a bad spin come in for the pits. And a pit stop can cost anything from 50 to 80 seconds. Certainly that will eliminate our lap ahead lead. So still a race here.
Looked like Antonio Puegeot had an event back there coming out of 15.
Yes, and if that's
Yep,
so,
there
we
we
totally
go.
missed it.
He's
We were
losing
on board
time.
with him just a couple of laps ago. And right now he is not in sight. So he is not in the mirror of the number 93.
.129 to Kevin Estra. So we've been losing time on a stint. The front tire's just not coming in. Either that or we're just driving it too hard. Very wide again.
And well, that lost time is to
Wasting
be
a lot of
expected,
time.
as we
Yeah,
are going to
turn
have to try to conserve these tires just a little bit more. Coming into turn 1, we have 1 minute and 1 hour and 34 minutes
Toyota.
left in the race.
Yes, it is.
We have about 5 laps left in this stint, and we have completed 197 laps here at the 8 Hours of Bahrain. Still quite a handful to finish here. One minute and 39 seconds to the second place, number 6. So we have lost about 6 or 7 seconds in the last several laps.
Too late.
And again, right now we can afford it here on the number 93. A little off here in turn 11. And again, we keep bringing this up, but in practice, a lot of these laps are actually very easy, and we don't take too much note of the complexity of these turns, the brake zones, and then the straightaways here, but in race pace, all of it is very important. And we are not going for a single fast lap. We are going to maintain the car for a large number of laps, and that just makes everything else on this track and driving around it more complicated. A long look back from the number 93. There are no hypercars behind us right now, and again, a very good lead on the second place, number 6. Looks like we regained about 3 seconds on Kevin Estra.
A lot of wear now on the front tires. More than the last stints.
And on screen we are looking at the current weather and track conditions. Right now 82.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The tarmac is a little bit cooler than that. So as night fell, we've lost a lot of temperature in the tarmac. And as a result, we are not even thinking about putting on a set of hard tires. It's possible the competition may have done that as well, but we have been on a set of mediums throughout the race.
So we did pretty good on that stint so far as energy. I think we can go another 2.5 laps on virtual energy alone. And that is going to help stretch on the last stint.
Now, we haven't spent much effort on virtual energy here at the 8 Hours of Bahrain. The laps are fairly short in comparison to Le Mans, where virtual energy was certainly critical, especially in that you can run out and have to come all the way back around if you don't have the fuel, and still spend 100 seconds sitting there as a penalty. Now, 100 second stop and go here at Bahrain will be very costly. You will lose nearly a lap to your competition. But again, we won't be running out of fuel or running out of virtual energy on the track, as it is much shorter here in Bahrain. There we are, indicated on the HUD.
Very wide.
We are called into the pits. We have 1.4
Turning it too late
laps
into turn 10.
of virtual energy left and 1.9 laps of fuel. Now it's very possible to stretch that out just one more lap and be very conservative. In fact, go through some fuel saving efforts here, but the tires are fairly worn and it's time to get a change out. And instead of wasting time slowing down to save energy, we are going to maintain our speed and come in and change out. Something that we may have gone the other way on if we were in Le Mans.
We are not going to stretch it.
Coming in right now, there is the first line that we cross. Pit limiter on, and we are down to 37 miles an hour.
See that Toyota went ahead.
Or 60 kilometers per hour here in the pit
He
lane.
is not on the same pit stop laps as we are.
And that is going to do it for the seventh segment,
probably got
seventh
another
stint of the 8 Hours of Bahrain. Let us know what you think of the race so far, and don't forget to click like and subscribe. It really does help our channel. We'll see you on the next segment. Thanks again for watching.